Hey, welcome back to Livin MN Outdoors. I'm Daniel, and thanks for tuning in to this week's fishing report. Finally, we have some great news on the walleye fishing, but before we dive into that, if you guys use any of the resorts or guides mentioned on today's fishing report, please let them know you saw them on Livin MN Outdoors. And with that being said, let's dive into this week's fishing report. All right, this week we're going to start up on Lake Winnie. I talked to Chad from the Pines Resort and Scott from zupsguideservice, and the walleye fishing has really picked up out on Lake Winnie right now. Now, as far as where you can find those fish, 10 to 13 foot of water on those deeper weed edges or pulling spinners through the weeds. Now, some of the better areas to find those weeds and those heavier populated areas with walleyes is in Tamarack Bay, around the Three Sisters area, over on Bowen's Flats, or on the south end of the lake on those deep weed lines like I said before. Now, the best ways to catch those fish, pulling spinners, specifically there's a chartreuse and gold spinner made by Zups Custom Tackle. It's a chartreuse and gold spinner, probably not brand specific, but that chartreuse and gold is really hitting the walleyes right now. Now, tip those spinners with a fathead is working best. Never hurts to have a tub of leeches or night crawlers in the boat as well. But the walleye fishing out on Lake Winnie right now is very good. If you put a little bit of time in, you troll some spinners in that 10 to 13 foot of water, you're going to catch some fish right now. Now, as far as the perch bite goes, the perch bite has really fired up out there as well. They're catching those right along with those walleyes, getting some really nice 10, 11, 12-inch perch. They're catching them on those chartreuse and gold spinners as well, tipping them with a fathead or a chunk of a crawler and having a ton of success. Now, as far as the pike fishing goes, they are catching some really nice pike mixed in with those walleye and perch, so you really don't have to even target any different areas. You're going to get a nice mixed bag of those three species, and all you have to do is pull those spinners. Now, as far as the panfish bite goes, the crappies still remain a little bit elusive out there, but the big bluegills, they're still catching those in Tamarack and Dam Bay. They're finding them up in the pencil reeds in that 5 to 8 foot of water, throwing small jigs, beetle spins. A slip bobber is working with a chunk of a crawler or a small leech, and they are getting some hog bluegills out on Lake Winnie. Now, if you guys are looking to book a guide out on Lake Winnie, Scott from zupsguideservice, he is the premier walleye guide up in the area, whether you want to fish on Winnie or one of the local lakes. Scott will take you out, he'll put you on fish, and he's going to teach you how and when, why, where to catch those fish. It's more than just going out and hammering a bunch of walleyes. It is very educational. So if you're looking to get up to Lake Winnie with a guide, go ahead and call Scott from zupsguideservice. Now, if you're looking for a place to stay up on Lake Winnie, the Pines Resort, they have seasonal sites, campsites, cabins, full bar and restaurant, dock slips, rental boats, live bait, fish cleaning shack, basically anything you need for a awesome fishing trip. They do have some availability throughout August and September. So if you're looking to get up to Lake Winnie and need a place to stay, go ahead and call Chad from the Pines Resort. All right, now moving over to Leech Lake. The bite on Leech Lake is picking up a little bit. It's not as good as Winnie is currently, but they are starting to catch some nice walleyes again and not having to put in quite as much work. Now, there are two different areas you can find those walleyes right now. In the low light periods, they're having some success pulling Hottentots on the main lake break lines in that 14 to 22 foot of water. Just troll those down those break lines. Otherwise, guys are pulling spinners down those break lines as well. Tipping those with fat heads or half a crawler is working best. Now, the second area that is starting to pick back up again is those shallow weed walleyes, that 7 to 11 foot of water. It is easier if you have a live scope to locate those weed fish, but if you put in some time and you just cover some area on those weeds, pitching 1/8 or 1/16 ounce jigs tipped with half a crawler or a medium to large leech, you will pick up some of those walleyes as well. Now, as far as the panfish bite goes, the crappie bite is starting to pick back up. I was told sucker bay and boy bay on those deeper weed lines, that 7 to 11 foot of water, they're getting them on small jigs with minnow style plastics or slip bobbers and a minnow or a chunk of a crawler. And they are getting some absolute mega crappies right now. Now, as far as the bluegills, they're finding those in those same areas, maybe even up in a little bit shallower. You can also look in the wild rice for them, and a slip bobber with a chunk of crawler or a small panfish leech is working best for those. Now, as far as the musky bite goes, the musky bite has been really good out there this year. Doesn't seem to be slowing down too much, although I will caution, with the water temps being really warm, handle those fish extremely careful. Quick, take a picture, get them back in the water. Take as good of care of those muskies as possible. The best areas to target right now are those shallow weed lines or those shallow rock points. And the best bait right now is a black and silver bucktail spinner, or you can throw some smaller jerk baits and topwaters as well. Now, if you're looking to hire a guide up on Leech Lake or the surrounding area, Parker from Davis's Guide Service, we were able to fish with him last weekend and absolutely had a blast catching walleyes. But if you're looking to get out, whether walleye fishing or panfish, Parker has those fish dialed in. Give him a call, get something on the books, and you won't regret spending a day in the boat with Parker. So if you're looking to get up to Leech Lake or the surrounding areas with the guide, go ahead and call Davis's Guide Service. Now, if you're looking for a place to stay up on Leech Lake, we highly recommend Acorn Hill Resort. They have a beautiful spot out on Traders Bay. They have cabins, seasonal sites, full bar and restaurant, boat rentals, live bait, fish cleaning shack, tons of events for the kids and adults in the bar. So if you're looking for a place to stay up on Leech Lake this coming weekend or in the future, go ahead and call Kyle from Acorn Hill Resort. All right, now moving over to Mille Lacs Lake. The walleye fishing on Mille Lacs Lake has been tough all year long. Just recently, they made the decision that they are going to up the limit to 3. I believe that starts September 1st. They're going to keep the same slot size as far as I know, but the walleye fishing has been tough, and catching 3 keepers, well, that is going to be a challenge. Now, I did get my first decent report in quite a while from out there. The main lake mud, pulling lead core on the top edge of the mud flats, either a number 5 or 7 shad rap, or pulling a bandit or a Hottentot is working as well. Now, as far as the perch bite goes, the perch bite has actually been pretty decent all season long. They're getting those out on the mud flats, slip bobber fishing, pulling bottom bouncers with a spinner, dropping a jig or even a small jigging wrap has been producing some really nice perch. Now, as far as the smallmouth bass bite goes, it had actually slowed down just a little bit, but that is picking right back up. They're finding the majority of those fish in that 12 to 16 foot of water. That doesn't mean there aren't a few in still a little bit shallower or a few out a little bit deeper, but that 12 to 16 foot of water kind of seems to be the sweet spot. Like usual, they're getting them out on the rocks and the boulders. And just a little tip, Saguchi Point has been extremely good as of late, so don't hesitate to check that area out. Now, the best ways to catch those smallmouth bass, a drop shot with a small orange craw has been working really well, along with a Ned rig. With the Ned rig, they're not catching as many fish, but it seems that the fish they are catching tend to be significantly bigger than the fish they're catching on the drop shot. Now, if you guys are looking to hire a guide up on Mille Lacs Lake or the surrounding area, we're working with Joe from Keeper's Guide Service. Whether you want a 4, 6, or 8 hour trip, he can accommodate any of those. Whether you're looking to catch smallmouth, walleye, panfish, whatever it might be, Joe has those fish dialed in. So don't hesitate to give Joe a call and get a trip on the books. All right, guys, well, that's going to do it for this week's fishing report. We really appreciate you guys tuning in. If you get out, take some pictures. You can send them to us on Facebook or to our Gmail, and we will do our best to feature you in next week's fishing report. Remember, be kind at the boat ramps, respect other fishermen, don't crowd your neighbor, and don't forget to get on out there and get living.